Using scientific studies and research to debunk the stereotypes in metal music. Part 1.
You were always such a good kid. Where did I go wrong? You must be a really angry person. I'm scared for you, really.
There are some violent themes and imagery in metal music. But most of the material incorporates a wide range of subject matter. From current events and religion, to soldiers dealing with depression, drug abuse and post-traumatic stress disorder after returning home from war. University of Queensland School of Psychology honors student Leah Sharman and Dr. Genevieve Dingle conducted a study to monitor the effects of heavy music on a person's mood and behavior. The results showed that, in comparison to listeners of other music genres, metal fans were mainly calmed and inspired by their music. To see the study, do a search for extreme music and anger processing.
Someone asked me the other day in an interview, and they're like, you guys write some pretty political stuff. I mean, are you always at rallies and doing this and that and the other? And I'm like, well, I really don't have any time to go do that stuff. However, I do have, as it seems right now, a rather large vehicle to express my views. And I hate to use the term responsibility of the artist, but if you are an artist and you do have a valid point to make, then use the vehicle at your disposal. You know, Britney Spears has nothing to say. She's not an artist, she's a hack. You know, people who play real music and who are passionate about it, if they have something true to say, they'll get it out there, you know, and that's what we try and do.
There are also some fun activities related to metal that outsiders would mistakenly interpret as violent.
Back more!
The Wall of Death.
Come on! Go back more, motherfuckers!
Another study, published in the journal Self and Identity, found that heavy metal fans turned out to be generally more content and happy in later life.
And I want you to kill everybody over there! And nobody goes until I say! Hold! Hold! Ah!
Oh, this is going to be fun. This is going to be fun.
And just about everyone is familiar with the mosh pit.
Gates kick this shit.
The same study also found that while metal enthusiasts did often experience a risky sex, drugs and rock and roll life, the metalhead identity also served as a protective factor against negative outcomes.
Here we go!
Something I want to ask you about actually is about the whole horror and gore element, because something that runs through metal, like in a lot of different ways. We've got the Kiss and the Alice Coopers, but then we have bands like Cannibal Corpse and Mayhem from Norway. And I guess I'm interested to know where that fascination with horror and gore comes for you.
I guess because I don't know where it comes from. Yeah, it's a funny thing. I've done a lot of interviews about that subject. I don't know where anything comes. I was just obsessed with it as a little kid, and I don't know why, and I can't figure it out. I think at the core of it, maybe with horror movies and metal and everything, it's outsider music and it's outsider subjects. And as a kid, I was an outsider and the loner, and I think that's sort of where it begins. You just sort of get obsessed with weird. You don't care about baseball. You're obsessed with the Manson family. Not because you think it's cool, because it certainly doesn't appear to be cool, because it's making you like the weird kid. Nobody's like going on it. Nobody wants to be the weird kid. You just somehow end up being the weird kid. You can't figure out how you got there. And, metal is sort of like that, except it's like all the weird kids in one place.
And the lyrics are about serious stuff, and it's horrible stuff, happening to people. But, we want the music and the lyrics to match, you know what I mean? And if we're going for the most extreme music we possibly can, then we got to go for the most extreme lyrics we can too. And when you write about something, just the same way a horror writer or a guy who's making a horror movie is not necessarily, or almost never condoning, violent behavior. The same thing when a person's making violent music, they're not necessarily condoning violent behavior. We're certainly not. It's a way to get your aggressions out through something else, really. I think that's the way metal is in general, and death metal for sure. It's a great way to get your aggression out. So.
Without a heart, you tear the innocent souls apart. You show your guts into the grave.
There have been several cases brought to the courts blaming someone's death or suicide on the message that metal sends. None of those cases were successfully prosecuted. Most of those cases were dismissed before going to trial. Slayer was involved in one of these lawsuits in which Judge E. Jeffrey Burke stated, "I do not consider Slayer's music obscene, indecent, or harmful to minors.